Hi everyone and welcome. Welcome to the 2 weekly astrology forecast. And that will be the forecast for Monday, the 15th of June, right the way through to Sunday, the 28th of June. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so the story of the next 2 weeks. There's a definite gear shift. Whilst the first 2 weeks were quieter than it has been since the beginning of the year, really, it certainly wasn't quiet. However, it was a little bit of a reprieve. But now that we have Uranus squaring the nodes, our nerves are going to start feeling the reverberations. There's a bit of an opening, a clearing, and a sense of the erratic energy that Uranus brings to the party. The new moon in Gemini on the 14th, 15th of June will bring us glimpses of the shifts that are going to happen. We may feel sudden flashes of inspiration. Our intuition may be heightened with the mix of the Gemini and Uranus energy being pulled into us. And we'll have also that Cancer energy being activated, which is that nurturing, sensitive side. So it's going to leave us feeling a little bit sensitive to our nervous energy. And then at the same time, we have Chiron moving into Taurus from Aries, where it's been probably for about the last 8 years. And this is going to bring up sensitivities around our self-worth, our values, self-esteem, our possessions. All of those kind of things are going to start to feel like they're being activated. Okay, so let's have a look at the key transits in a little bit more detail. So to kickstart the week, on the Monday, the 15th of June, we have the new moon in Gemini. This is going to be right smack bang in the middle of June, and it's that first activation of the Uranus energy now that it's in Gemini. And it's going to bring that mutable energy straight into that Gemini season mixed with a bit of the Uranus energy. Even though they're more than sort of 10 degrees apart, Uranus is watching as the new moon sort of is gathering speed. So it's all about, this new moon is all about getting busy with our plans, our trips, being curious, light and breezy. It's got a really nice feel to it. Everything's light-hearted and it brings a bit of light after some of the heavy energy that we've had recently. Really good energy to get curious, to open ourselves up, let things in, try new things, get out and about locally, and to socialise and to really enjoy the moment where we can. You know, anything is really possible, and this energy being activated is opening that sort of portal really for new things to come in, things that we won't be expecting, things that we couldn't necessarily predict, and they might come in a little bit left field, might be something that we're not really taking note of. So really take note of everything that happens around about this time and just see where that leads you. Then we have, on the 15th of June, Venus sextiling Uranus. This transit may bring up surprise feelings, sudden feelings towards other people, unexpected passions, love ideas, etc. We may try new things, or we may want to experiment with new things completely out of the blue, or we may get new insights. And then as we move on to the 17th of June, we have Venus trining Neptune. So Venus trining Neptune is a lovely, flowy, imaginative energy filled with lots of love, hope, compassion, where ideas and love flow easily with that trine. It blends the love, the finances, and the beauty of Venus with the spirituality and the compassion of Neptune. A really good day to dream or to do something imaginative or art-filled. Things that light us up, help us to access the divine through whatever medium takes our fancy. And this transit, we are more prone to seeing the glass half full and looking at life through our rose-coloured glasses. So that would be the one thing that we might want to watch out for. But every now and again, a little bit of that does us no harm, as long as we don't take it to the extreme. Then on the same day, we have Venus opposing Pluto on the 17th of June, which can be about getting to the heart or the bottom of things. It's our depth of feelings, our emotions are going deep. We can be obsessing a little bit or compulsive a little bit about something or getting to the bottom of it. And this can also be where there's power play involved in relationships, etc. But on the whole, a good day just to kind of do a bit of excavation, get to the bottom, have those kind of difficult conversations and to have a little bit of depth there. Then on the 19th of June, we have Chiron entering Taurus. So this is quite a big transit now because Chiron's been in Aries for about the last 8 years. And this is all about our self-esteem, our self-worth, any wounds that we have around our feelings of value, worth. And this sets off a new area of healing for money. It talks to the scarcity mindset, which may be very prevalent at this moment in time, and that feeling that we don't quite feel like we're enough. So all of these things we may start to feel come up and maybe slightly triggering us at the moment. But like anything, if you bring it out into the light, that's where we can actually get a little bit of healing. Then we have Uranus squaring the North Node on the 20th of June. So this is divine intervention energy, where we are going or where we're headed on our life path, or if we're moving away from our life path. This aspect can bring a bit of course correction if we're not moving in the right direction. So if we seem to be heading along the wrong path, all of a sudden something can come out of left field, knock us off our feet a little bit. It's not always pleasant or comfortable, but it can be what's needed in our life and what's necessary. And often when we look back at these transits, we'll look back and think of them as, I wouldn't want to do it again. However, I appreciate that it's helped me in some way or it was for the greater good. So this is combining surrender with Pisces in the North Node, with that inspiration to the divine intervention from Uranus in Gemini now. So it's not really a very good time to be rigid or to hold on to anything too tightly, because that's where we'll potentially come unstuck. We need to be open, willing to see things, willing to change our perspective and to be driven to wherever we're being pushed to from a divine intervention point of view. Okay, so then we have on the 21st of June, we have the Sun entering Cancer. So the Sun entering Cancer brings home those Cancer themes. And it's things like our homes, our security, our nurture, our family, friends, our remembering of the past, nostalgia. There'll be an emphasis on our home, family life and our rhythm of life. You know, that waxing and waning of our moods, our security, the roof over our heads. These are all themes that may come up when the Sun moves into Cancer. And it's also the start of the sort of the summer holidays. You know, the weather's getting a bit nicer, schools are closing out. We're all gearing up for that, spending that bonding and that time with our family and friends and having a bit of downtime. So a really nice time of year. Then on the 21st of June, we have Sun sextiling Chiron. So this energy supports healing those areas that are around our self-worth, our self-esteem, that longing for us to feel secure, to feel safe. And it can also be about our vitality and bringing that healing life force energy to those areas that need that extra vitality. If we're feeling drained, if we're feeling a bit depleted, the Sun sextiling Chiron really gives us that bit of support there where it's really needed. So then moving on to the 24th of June, we have the Sun trining the North Node. So once again, with the Sun aspect in the North Node, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on our life purpose and where we should be going. However, this aspect also brings more flow and light to our purpose. Everything will just work out as it is meant to be, as it should be, and it will just click easily. Things will flow very easily. And with the sun following in the wake of Uranus, I wonder if this is going to highlight the areas that we need to bring more focus and have more light on and lighten up those areas. Then also on the 25th of June, we have the sun squaring Neptune. So this brings a little bit of tension to the nurturing side of ourselves, and nurturing those around us, and that sort of spiritual warrior that's all about fighting the battle and putting ourselves out there. So there's going to be a little bit of push-pull along these kind of themes. Also on the 25th of June, we have Venus trining Saturn. These two planets generally like each other, and with a trine aspect, this can bring a bit of stability and structure to areas of life that light us up to in our relationships. Sometimes it can feel a little bit restricting, or it can be that sort of commitment energy as well. With them both being in fire signs, there is a bit of a more of a dynamic energy and a creative spark about this that's bringing something into form. And then on the 28th of June, we have Mars sextiling Jupiter. So this energy is going to take place right before Mars leaves Taurus and enters Gemini, and Jupiter leaves Cancer, where it's been for the past year. So this energy is optimistic, energetic, and it can bring a bit of a boost of good luck before both signs move on. And then we have Mars finally moving into Gemini on the 28th of June. So Mars entering Gemini brings us out of that slower moving and that grounding energy of Taurus and back into a faster paced energy. We'll want to do things quickly and rapidly, but with Mercury preparing to go backwards, we're going to feel a little bit frustrated maybe with how quickly things are actually moving. It's a really good time to sort of review and check everything where possible, slow down before we take action. And then on the 29th of June, we have Mercury going retrograde, which Mercury does 3 times a year. Mercury goes retrograde from the 29th of June in Cancer, and it will remain there until after it completes its retrograde cycle on the 6th of August. So Mercury started its shadow retrograde on the 12th of June. So for approximately 2 months, Mercury is going to be moving back and forth through Cancer. And whatever house that rules for us in our charts, these themes are going to be particularly highlighted and are going to be particularly pertinent to us. We'll be going back and forth and reviewing those areas of our lives. Particularly important during this time is to really double check everything. Expect some understandings and miscommunications. We may be going back and redoing things or reviewing. There might be technical hitches, and added to that will be a bit more sensitive and in our feelings, not so logical at this time with that Mercury in Cancer. It's much more intuitive, much more about our feelings than our logic. Okay, so how best to work with this energy over the next 2 weeks? So we need to stay open and adaptable, ready to think on our feet. With all that Gemini, Uranus energy, it's going to be fast moving, fast paced. Things are going to be changing on a whim. We need to be sort of ready to kind of handle those last minute changes. Watch out for sudden inspiration, out of the blue invites, emails that may have the potential to course correct or to set us on a slightly different path or open something new for us. We also need to be practicing doing something to steady and ground our nerves. Something that helps us to feel grounded when our nervous energy is sort of spiking a little bit. Get into our bodies, do something physical. Things are kind of breaking down around us, and it can feel a little bit unnerving and triggering. But remember, Where those cracks appear, light can come in and heal and bring fresh inspiration. So keep a note of insights or new ideas that suddenly pop off, and create an evening routine to wind the mind down and to preserve our energy. So possible weekly affirmations might be: I am enough, I have enough, I am open and adaptable, I am curious and open to all possibilities, I handle everything with grace, I am able to create space and to respond rather than react. Right then, everybody. So this brings us to the summary. So in summary, remain open to all possibilities. Remember, we can't always see the bigger picture, and this too shall pass. We change everything once we change our perspective. Take time to breathe, and as always, to ground and nurture ourselves where possible. Look after yourselves, enjoy the cosmic weather, and have an amazing couple of weeks and an inspiring couple of weeks. Much love, Maria.